Welcome everybody to the current module. Over here we'll be studying the details about object repository now. Right now, talking about very simple thing, that what is an object. First of all, many people they get confused with this. Look, anything on a web page or a Windows based application which UFT can detect is an object. Okay, for example, if I open up the browser, hold on. If I open up the browser, and on this browser this text field is an object, this button is an object, right? The complete browser is also known as an object. So technically, if you see any two automation testers talking to each other, you will hear the object word a lot, right? So everything including the browser and inside the browser is technically known as an object, right? Now to find the objects, right, you have got object spy in UFT, right? Hold on, you open UFT, create a new test, okay, and after that, just a minute, it's creating the test. There is something known as object spy. Okay, it helps. It's like object spy is like an eye of QTP. It helps you to see the application the way UFT sees the application. You go inside tools and you'll see the object spy option over here, right? You click on this, you will have this window coming up. Right now, if suppose I have got my Mozilla opened over here and then I have UFT, so basically behind UFT my Mozilla is present. Okay, so technically my Mozilla is behind UFT. If I click on this object spy icon, right, and now if I move my mouse over Mozilla, you will see that it will be able to detect various things. Right, hold on. Let me go to the website yahoo.com. Okay, now once I am on this website, if I spy it, right, so you can spy anything. Okay, you will have the description. This is a link, this is again a link, right? Okay, this is technically known as a web edit. Right now, in between, you will have the complete hierarchy over here which is being displayed, right? What is in the hierarchy and all we'll talk about in some time, but object spy helps you to detect what is there inside the application and how UFT looks at the application, right? Now I'll show you again. Hold on, you click on spy, you move a mouse anywhere, and as soon as you click, UFT will come back. Okay, now while spying, if you want to move the spy window, okay, you can press the control button of the keyboard. Spy will get disabled. Now you can move the window as well. At times you want to spy something which is behind the object spy window, so it is for that. Alright, so you need to move the object spy window and you need to spy this. Right now, just a minute, just be with me. Right now, the next thing is that you see this icon over here. If you click on this and now you spy, okay, you'll see the spy window will disappear, and as soon as you click anywhere on any link or any object, it will come back and it will tell you the properties of the object as well. Now in spy, you have got native properties as well as identification properties. Okay, now before I go over to these, if your object spy is not working, there can be various reasons for that. It should work for Windows based applications as well. For example, this calculator, if I'm spying this, it should be able to locate each and every object on this, right? If it is not showing, and if it is showing you like a big box and not something inside it, the reasons can be, there can be various reasons for that. Okay, if you look at the module number 7, which is the last module I was talking about in UFT, okay, well, I discussed about when UFT fails to recognize objects and all, so what are the various rules and all. So rules for web based and Windows based, you must be violating any of the rules. Okay, so you please refer this module number 7. If your UFT is not spying, you have done something wrong. Okay, in that case, right? Now after this, okay, classification of objects, this is important. Okay, now as I told you, every text field is an object, every link is an object, right? As a user, you classify the objects, right? You see the web page and you classify them like this. You know that this is an input field, this is a text field, this is a link, this is a text on the page, this is a drop down. Similarly, UFT classifies the objects, right? For example, if I spy, then this is a text field, right? Okay, let me keep the spy on top, right? You click on this icon and spy will come again on the top. This is a text field, right? So technically this comes under the class webEdit. You see that in the identification properties you have a class name. Every object has a particular class. This class name is a webEdit. This class is inside another class known as a web table, which is inside another class known as a web table. Ultimately, this is the page class, which will hold all the objects. Obviously the class name is page, and the top class is the browser, because browser is inside the page. So every object has a particular class. For example, this is a link, Supreme Court, right? Or this is a link, entertainment, right? So each and every link, like this is a link, this is the class name is link. This link is inside a class name called page, which is inside a class name called browser. So you have the complete hierarchy of the object being displayed with the help of spy. Okay, and every object has a certain class name which you can actually determine from object spy, right? Link is link, edit field is web edit in case of web based application. Then you have got web button, for example this search web is a web button. Okay, so there are different types of classes. In case of Windows based applications, for example this is the calculator, right? We have got win button, it starts from win. Okay, generally it should for web based application it starts from web. In case of Windows based application it starts from win button, win edit, okay, something like that. Alright, now hold on. Okay, this is how you classify the objects. Every object has a particular class. You can determine that class with the help of object spy. Now what happens when you record? Okay, suppose I am on this page only and I go to UFT, right, and I go inside the recording mode. Okay, I go to the browser, and on the browser say I click on answers, right? So you will see that some code is generated. I am clicking on answers, right? Now object repository, okay. Object repository is like the brain of UFT. For example, when you see something you remember it, right? Why do you remember it? Because it's in your brain. Next time when you see it, you'll recollect it, that fine, this is the same thing which I saw that day, right? So similarly, when you record something, UFT stores everything, that this is the link answers, I am clicking on it. UFT will store browser, page, link, everything in its brain. The brain is known as the object repository. Okay, right? So you go to resources and you will have object repository over here. Inside the object repository, let it open, you will see the thing that this is the browser Yahoo we are talking about. Okay, the class is browser, and inside it there is the page Yahoo, and there is the link answers on which you clicked on. Hold on, let me talk to you, let me tell you this in a better way. I'll delete this browser, just a minute. Right now the object repository is empty. This is the brain of UFT, which is empty. Okay, this is my browser. Okay, just a minute. So in the half screen I have kept object repository, and in the other half I have kept the browser. Okay, I'll go in the recording mode. Right, now over here, just a minute, over here suppose I click on all categories. Okay, I click on all categories. As soon as I click on this, you'll see that all categories will come inside the repository. Okay, this is inside the repository. Now if I click on say dining out, then dining out will come inside the repository. So objects, as you use them, they keep on getting inside the repository or the brain of UFT, right? And the code also starts generating. If I'll stop this. Okay, right, now you will be able to relate whatever is recorded in the code from the repository. Alright, now in the repository, if you look at it, the topmost thing is, just a minute, the topmost thing is this name of the browser, home Yahoo Answers. Okay, if you relate it, it's happening like this in the code. In the code it's written there is a browser with the name home Yahoo Answers, which is the same name over here. The class is browser. These are the classes, browser, page, link. These are the predefined classes in UFT. Okay, it is saying that there is a browser with the name Yahoo Answers. Inside it there is a page. These are two pages inside it. Okay, I want to go inside the page home Yahoo Answers, which is this one. Inside it there is a link, all categories, okay, which is this one. This is the link, and click on this. So this is how it works. Okay, if you directly change the name over here, it will not be able to work, because UFT, what it does is that when it works, it finds this link in the repository first, and then it finds it in the application. Okay, let me tell you with a better example. Hold on. I'll delete this code, and I'll also delete the object repository. Okay, let me take up on calculator. It will be more simple to understand. Okay, now I am going to go in the recording mode, go to calculator, and if I click on the button 8 of the calculator, the button Win button 8 gets added in the repository. Okay, if I click on 9 and then 6, 3, any button, the buttons are getting added in the repository. Okay, now, right, these are the various Win buttons. Okay, they have to be mapped inside the repository. Okay, if tomorrow everything is inside the window calculator, if I change the name to CALC only over here and hit the enter button, you will see that in the code the name automatically becomes CALC. Button 2 was actually button underscore 2. This is actually the 8, button 8, right? I can give the name as 8 over here, and it will work. Right, I think button 3 was actually 7 button. If I directly write over here 7, this will not work, because UFT will say that fine, there is a window calculator, it will go inside the repository. Yes, there is a window calculator. Under that there is a Win button 7. Win button 7 it will not be able to find. Win button with the name 7. Okay, but if you give the name 7 over here, then it will work. Okay, so you have to be made sure that whatever names which you are going to give over here, those names should be present inside the object repository. This is very important. Okay, so this is how you map the OR with code and the application. Now how do you map with the application? Okay, look what happens is that, let me explain you with a diagram. Right, this is your code which you had made. This is your application, or this is the object repository, and this is the application. Okay, right. First, UFT, what it does, it checks whatever you have written in the code is there in the object repository or not, right? Then if it is found in the object repository, it finds the same object which is mentioned in the object repository in the application and works on it. In case the object is not there in object repository, it will throw an error. Okay, when we do advanced QTP, when we'll do advanced QTP, suppose over here, out here in descriptive programming and all, when we do this, right, we will actually work without object repository. The code will directly talk to the application. We'll write the VB scripting code, will bypass the object repository and will directly talk to the application, right? So we will look at that. Just be with me, you'll come to know everything, right? Now moving ahead, okay, moving ahead, understanding the object hierarchy in the repository, dragging objects, right? Hierarchy, what do you mean by hierarchy? Okay, the way, let me delete this again and delete the object repository. Okay, go inside the recording mode and click on business and finance. Okay, so you have the object hierarchy over here in object repository. On the top you have the browser object, then there is the page object, and inside the page you have the link. So this is how the hierarchies are there in the object repository. If I delete this line, of code, and if I want to make it again, you can also do that. You just need to drag the object from the repository into the code. Okay, you can drag the object and the code will automatically be generated, that you need to click on this link or something. Okay, so even if you record, right, I am in the recording mode again, right, if I click over here, then over here, then over here, okay, I keep on adding the objects to my object repository. Okay, later on, even if I delete the code, okay, I can simply drag the objects in the sequential manner in which I want to click on them, and I can simply use them. Alright, so this is dragging. Now why is dragging actually helpful? Okay, why is dragging actually helpful? Object synchronization and wait. Okay, I'll talk about this in 2 minutes. Right, dragging is helpful because at times you can manually add the objects in the object repository as well. Right, for example, I'll delete the code and I'll delete the repository as well. Right, now in the repository, right, you have again the option of object spy again inside the repository. Okay, if I click on this object spy, right, if I click on this hand icon, right, I'll be able to spy any object, say answers home, right, and then you have these three buttons. Highlight an application. If I click on this, the link would be highlighted. Okay, the next important button is this one, add to repository. I can directly click on this icon. I can spy the object, I can spy any object. Hold on, I can spy any object. Okay, and then click on add object to repository icon, and that object would be added in the repository. This is the advantage. Okay, that object would automatically get added inside the repository, and then you can drag the object from here and use it. Okay, you don't need to record it, that's what I am going to say. Alright, there is the similar icon, add object to repository, is inside your object repository as well. On the object repository, you see there are multiple icons present. Okay, there are multiple icons present over here, right? We'll see what these means and what they do. Okay, as I told you, you can add the object inside the repository using object spy. You spy the object, okay, you add the object to the repository, the object gets added, then you can simply drag and drop it, whatever you want. Okay, right. Now one thing before I move forward, as I was saying, you change the name over here. For example, I change my browser name to Mozilla, it will get changed in the code. I'll change my page name to Yahoo, it will get changed in the code, right? And I can change these names as well. You can change the name mentioned over here, but don't change the name which are present in object details. Okay, don't change these names. These are actually the names on which the object gets identified. Okay, this is the actual name on which the object actually gets identified. So please don't change these names. You can change the external name, which is this one. If I don't change the name in the repository, and if I change the name over here, if say as a layman I say that fine, on this page I want to click on the link all categories, let's copy the name from here and paste it over here and try to click on it. Okay, when you run this code, right, it will throw an error. It will throw an error if you look at the error carefully. The all categories link object was not found in the object repository. So the first step is getting failed. Okay, the code, it tries to find the object inside the object repository. This step gets failed. Now from the object repository, if the object is not found in the application, if this step fails, this can be a bug in the application. But this is your error, this is the error of the tester. Okay, so you need to be a little careful about this. Fine, so hold on. Right, I write education and references, and I now go to my object repository. Corresponding to education and references, it will try to find a link with this name. If I change this one, if I give any weird value over here, right, and now if I run the code, see, it's running and it did not throw the error instantly. Now it will try to find the object on the code, the object on the application with this particular text. Okay, or for example, I close my window, I open another browser, right, and I go to the website, say some other website, bbc.com, and I try to execute the same code over here where the object is actually not present. Okay, even if I keep the text as education and reference, now this object is actually not present on bbc.com. Right, now if you run this, it will not throw the error instantly. I want to explain you the point that it will not throw the error instantly. It will wait for some time. This time is known as the synchronization time. Okay, it waits for synchronization timeout, that is the minimum time UFT will try to find the object on the page before throwing an error. Okay, that is known as synchronization timeout, and you see that the error is cannot identify the object this. Right, I'll tell you how you can find the synchronization timeout now. Okay, right, you go to file, settings, and under run settings, these are the various settings, we'll talk about them in the course, this is very important. Right, under the run settings you have the object synchronization timeout to 20 seconds. That means if the object is not found in the application and is there in the OR, right, UFT will try to find for 20 seconds before throwing an error. In case it is present in code and not in OR, UFT will find for 0 seconds. It will immediately throw an error. Okay, if I write something which is not there in the repository and if I run this, it will immediately throw an error. This is your mistake, you need to correct it. Right, otherwise it will wait for some time, try to find the object for maximum 20 seconds. You can edit this time as well as per your requirements. Okay, and this is how it works. Okay, this is the concept of object synchronization. right? Now what is wait? At times you want to put a delay from your side. Okay, you click on a link, then before clicking on the other link, you want to introduce a delay from your side. You can write like this, something like this, wait 5. This means pause the program for 5 seconds. Generally we don't do it, we don't prefer to do it. Okay, we depend on synchronization only, but at times if you feel the need, you can do that as well. You will have to use wait. Okay, using wait is not a bad thing, but you should not use it again and again. That causes problems, right? Now adding the objects manually into OR, adding all objects of the page. Let's see the concept of OR now. How you can add the objects yourself. I simply told you can go to object spy anything and then add the objects, right? Okay, but what if you want to say add all the objects of the page into an object repository, or you just want to add the links, right? Or you want to add objects of a particular type. How will you do that? Let's talk about that.